Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run.
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Well, hello again, everyone, and good Tuesday evening. Welcome into the latest edition of Sports Blitz Live. I am Andy Graham alongside Luke Robinson. Will be with you for the next couple of hours, taking your comments, taking your phone calls, 256-234-6221, talking about everything going on in the world of sports. There is a lot to talk about tonight. Boy, the coaching carousel got in full turn really quick this year. We've been talking about it. Jimbo Fisher, I don't think anybody is shocked that this happened, but he is no longer the head coach at Texas A&M, but he is a very rich man.
I mean, yeah, and I know the joke, and I understand everybody going, wow, pay me $76 million to go away. True, and it's not just the $76 million to go away. It's $19 million practically immediately, and then like $7 million 30 days after that, and then $7 million a year until the year 2031. Plus what he's already been paid from A&M, plus whatever he was already paid. I mean, he doesn't have to cash any of these checks he's about to get. He could bank all of them, and, his grandchildren's grandchildren never have to worry about anything.
Or he could buy the Cubs.
Yeah, but there is some embarrassment associated with this. At least there should be. There should be embarrassment all the way around. And the weird thing is, they keep showing the statistic of this is the highest buyout, which eclipsed Gus Malzahn's buyout. And you were like, oh my God, buying out Gus Malzahn now seems like the bargain of all bargains.
I looked on that list and I did not see Ed Orgeron. How is that? His buyout was huge.
It wasn't that big, and I think
I
think they actually, I don't know if they paid him all of it or if they came to some resolution, but maybe they paid him all of it. I can't remember, but I remember his story was, you're going to pay me how much not to retire, essentially?
Yeah.
Tell me what door you want me to leave out of with my big check.
And it's not done yet. Mel Tucker may be on that list at some point because that's going to be a lawsuit.
Well, and Chip Kelly apparently is fired today.
Oh, really?
At UCLA.
Okay.
Not much of a shock. He just couldn't get a foothold.
No.
Has
anybody had a foothold at UCLA in 25 years?
No, I mean, incredibly, it's very difficult to – it's a beautiful place, but the facilities, at least I'll die on this hill. The Rose Bowl is kind of a dump outside of the actual view. It's kind of a dump. I mean, I liked going. I enjoyed it. If it were Alabama's full-time home stadium, I'd be like, we got to do something. I mean, and
it's been like moderately renovated, but I mean, it's the same stadium the last 80 years, right?
Exactly. And it's almost makes you claustrophobic. It has these large tunnels you go through, and I mean, it's just sort of dumpy. I'm sorry, but the view can't be beat. And I just get tired of people saying that's where the national championship game should be every year. No, it's in the middle. I mean, first of all, you got to go to Los Angeles to get there. Nobody wants to go to L.A. right now, and then you got to go through all this neighborhood of Pasadena. But anyway, my son, who goes to Arizona State, and his mom and brother just went to the Arizona State-UCLA game where Arizona State won 17-7, which probably helped contribute to the firing of one Chip Kelly.
Probably so.
Should have.
Yeah, Zach Arnett fired as well. I was surprised at that a little bit, but I guess when you think back, and it was a hasty promotion because of and you had the death of Mike Leach and everything that went on with that. It was almost probably a trial basis anyway, I suppose. But Mississippi State will be looking, for a new coach as well. I'm sure other teams will follow. Arkansas possibly will be open.
This is funny. So for our Locked On network, I do Locked On Bama. All these other guys do various Locked On college stuff. The Locked On Arkansas guy was on our little meeting that we do on Tuesdays at 6 o'clock. And we were talking about what shows were successful, what not to talk about. He said the most successful show I had this week was basically breaking down Sam Pittman's contract. And he said, to me, it's the most boring topic I could have brought up. I could have cussed out all these players, for not trying against Auburn or watching Polar Express at halftime or whatever, or just dog cussed Sam Pittman. He said, but people wanted to know the intricacies of this. And he said, for me, it's totally boring. But what he said was, if Sam Pittman has an overall losing record, his buyout is 1/2 of his remaining contract. So, if whatever's left on his contract, I didn't get that far, but let's say he's $10 million left on his contract, well, then he's owed $5 million. But if he's got a 500 or above, he's due 75%. And he did say this. He said, so it costs $10 million to fire him if he has a losing record, but 16 if he has a 500 or above. And the Florida win makes it where he's 500 overall. So that's why Sam Pittman might not be fired, because what he has left is Florida International and Missouri. Missouri, I feel like, is going to beat Arkansas. Now, Florida International Arkansas looked like they had completely mailed it in against Auburn, like did not care. In fact, I saw one other Arkansas guy talking about there were specific instances in the second half where there were folks walking during plays.
Oh, they quit after the first quarter.
Like, I didn't see that.
I fully believe they were into the game. They were fired up. They, at the beginning, and when it was 21-0, they checked out. And you can kind of I would make the argument. I get it.
I feel like they checked out right before the punt return. It sure looked like that may have done it. But regardless, so what that means is this is how these wins and losses, this is why the SEC is the best. Because so the loss basically puts Billy Napier on like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? Because the Locked On Gators guy was also with us. And he was like, we can't fire him right now. He's like, yeah, we're just like every other university, especially in the SEC. We got plenty of money, but we can't be throwing it around willy-nilly. We're not A&M. A&M has like a $20 billion endowment. Florida is probably like about Alabama, about 1.8 million. That's where Florida probably is.
Billion.
And it's a lot of money. You're right.
But you keep saying million.
I know. Billion. I know. But his point was, we're still paying Dan Mullen. He said, we can't buy out this guy, all his assistants, and then go get the new guy. And who are we going to get? It doesn't feel like a great year to be out coach searching right now is the other thing. So, but the Mississippi State thing, look, his buyout was like $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, here, just look under the couch, get what you need, and get out of here. And we've been saying all along, I think you and me and everybody, this was doomed to fail. He looks like the head coach at a 2A school that is, coming in fourth in their area every year. That's what he looks like. And when you watch him on the sideline, he doesn't look like a guy who's even coaching.
No.
I mean, he looks like a guy who's sort of, he's got his arms folded and he's listening, but I never saw him actually move his mouth.
He doesn't look. Yeah, no. I heard when they came to Auburn, that was what literally somebody said after the game was he never changed his facial expression. He never talked to anybody. He just stood there the whole time. And maybe that's because when he was a defensive coordinator, he was all fired up. It's this weird dynamic when guys go from coordinator to head coach. They feel like, okay, I got to change. You got the job because that's who you are. And then you change to like, well, I got to be a CEO now.
Do you remember Unnecessary Roughness, the movie?
Yeah, I do.
Where the defensive coordinator has to take over the head coaching role because the head coach has a heart attack?
I do.
And it turned out to be gas, but and he like wore a tie and didn't try to, and they were playing so uptight and terrible. And then he said, I don't like this tie, I don't like anything. And they started playing better.
Yep.
Be who you are. Like if you hire Joe Lee Dunn, for those who want to go in the Wayback Machine, as your head coach, he doesn't need to start wearing socks. He always never wore socks.
You blitz
all the time. So something interesting about the Mississippi State job, Jamie Chadwell sent out a tweet today, and it's a picture, and he said something like, can't wait for blah, blah, blah. So, he's coaching Liberty now. He was at Coastal Carolina, went to Liberty after Hugh Freeze left, and the tweet says it was posted from Starkville, Mississippi. Now, Was that coincidence? Was he there to see a relative?
You're right.
It was somebody else tweeting for him. It's just very interesting.
Obviously, Dan Mullen's name is going to come up. Redux usually is not as good.
Mac Brown. And you're right, it's not as good. I mean,
Yeah, really. Yeah,
they lost to Virginia. They should have lost to Duke without Riley Leonard.
Duke, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think if I were Mississippi, I would probably go. I would bark up another tree. I would find something else. I mean, something like I don't know who's his name's escaping me right now. Double K name who throws the ball all over the field, never plays defense. Head coach at Arizona Cardinals. You know who I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, got fired.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Who got $1 gazillion and then went off with like his Brazilian model girlfriend to, Portugal or something, or I can't remember where he went, but for like a month. But I mean, I'm sure he's in football somewhere. I would go get him and say, hey, look, we want to throw it all over the field again. We know you're not going to win the SEC, but we got Oklahoma and Texas coming. Auburn's getting better. Ole Miss ain't going anywhere. A&M's paying out $1 gazillion. Alabama and LSU are still here. We just come in and make us interesting. That's what you want to do.
That's the last thing I would do if I was Mississippi State.
But
Go get Kingsbury.
Maybe not him,
okay,
but the equivalent of him. And what you can't do is get Arnett again, he comes in and he is like, he's like eggshell white. I mean, you're like, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
There's not a cool haircut. There's not a cool wardrobe. There's not this vernacular he uses.
But the only time Mississippi State has been truly successful is when they've had a boring coach, like Mullen.
Dan Mullen wasn't boring. People
Sure
called him the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
I know, but they insulted him, yeah. But I mean, he was not a flashy guy.
He also coached Cam Newton and Tim Tebow. He coached one of the more powerful offenses in, at least in that time, in Florida's offense. He had a lot to hang his hat on.
I'm aware, but I mean, it wasn't a gimmick. Kingsbury's
hump was his
gimmick. Maybe so. He should have worn it on the other shoulder. We gotta take our first break here tonight, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you, just getting started on tonight's show. We are brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by JR Sports Bar and Grill. Wonderful place to have lunch or dinner right here in downtown Alexander City. Just ate there this weekend. I love that mushroom Swiss burger. Can't say enough about it. That and the homemade chips, too. Outstanding. So go, if you get a chance, go by and have lunch with them sometime this week. Great food, great people, great atmosphere there at JR's Sports Bar and Grill, celebrating 25 years here in the Alexander City community. The Michigan saga continues on. Harbaugh suspended for the last 3 games, but Michigan has filed an injunction. Apparently, Harbaugh says he will be in court on Friday. Says that he always, would like to have that kind of Tom Cruise moment. He even made reference to it in A Few Good Men. We'll see how that goes.
It just kind of makes me a little sick, honestly. I mean, you're cold busted, 100%. But
it's due process. We need due process.
I understand we need due process. We also need a speedy trial here. And this isn't a criminal thing.
No.
It's an NCAA thing. So, I mean, we're not deciding a man's life. Okay, we are deciding, there's a lot of money at stake. But when you do something like this, that is clearly, it's not that he was stealing signals. We all steal signals. We know this. It's that he was doing it in a way that is expressly written to not do it that way.
Let me ask you this, and I don't know if it ultimately it does not matter. But do you believe, Luke Robinson, in your heart of hearts, that the mastermind behind this is Jim Harbaugh and he directed this man to do these things? Or did this in some sort of way, I'll give you a scenario, this guy came up with this, worked it out, came to Jim Harbaugh and said, this is what I'm going to do. And Harbaugh said, okay, I don't want to know anything about it, but, you just give us what the information you get. Which do you think is more likely?
I think it's more likely he masterminded, but, I mean, I don't think it matters. Because if he knew it, I mean, and if you're telling me he didn't know, give me a break. I mean, again, and I know there are a lot of Michigan fans out there, innocent until proven guilty. This isn't what this is. This isn't a criminal court case. This is, and we all saw it. We all know it. And, I mean, he's on the Central Michigan sidelines, and he's on the sidelines at Michigan. He's on there standing next to coordinators and telling them things. And it's just, how Michigan is pretending to be the victim here just makes me so sick. I mean, it just does. I mean, it's what's screwed up with a lot of our system, that the perpetrator becomes the victim. It's always about, well, let me tell you about little Jim Harbaugh he grew up with nothing, Andy. He made his way to the top, and he might have done a few things wrong, but who amongst us hasn't? I hate that argument. Who amongst us hadn't made a mistake? Well, I would say just about every other coach hadn't had somebody on the sideline standing there telling them exactly what to do from a guy who's making $55,000 a year but can somehow afford to go to every other opponent's game and video them all.
Well, apparently Shane Beamer was fined for doing this of some sort, taking information or doing, stealing signals.
Well, and if Shane Beamer was doing it, and if he got in trouble, fine. That's not as big. It may be as big a story to South Carolina. It's not as big a story. If Michigan were 6-4 right now, we'd all be like, it's so stupid. We wouldn't be worried about it. But it is. They're in the middle of a championship hunt.
Yeah.
And it's screwed up. It's just screwed up. This needs to be fixed. I mean, if you knew a player, if you had him on tape taking steroids, and then he kept playing, and somebody comes up and goes, I know on the syringe it says steroids. How do we know it wasn't just saline in there? Well, we don't know that. And if we were trying to convict him of something, that would be something his defense team would bring up. But I think the NCAA should have enough stick left to be able to say, buddy, you're done. And there's no injunction. Why is the judge getting involved in this? The only reason the judge is getting involved in this is because he wants to do it, I guess, in Michigan. I guess that's where it is. So maybe he'll be reelected. I don't know. If a judge should laugh this like, dude, you're busted. This is not a criminal thing. This is the NCAA. Just do it. Just serve your suspension. You're getting off pretty doggone light so far.
Yeah, will Jim Harbaugh coach against Ohio State?
I mean, if there's any justice in the world, he won't, but therefore he will. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, we always put all this stuff off and then say, well, let's just figure it all out later. But the problem is there are other teams doing it fairly or a lot more fairly than what Michigan is doing right now. And we can stop it. It can be stopped. And it can be stopped in a way that the players don't really get all that hurt. We can say, guys, I said this last show. Whatever players at Michigan right now, okay, we know Michigan's going to get hit with something. We don't know what it is yet. We will figure that out. But for the rest of the year, they're not playing in this playoff. We've got to figure this out. And it's not fair to the other 131 teams in college football. So what we're going to do is say, if you guys want to transfer, this year is sort of like your COVID year. It doesn't count. So you can transfer wherever you want to. And it's like you're a graduate transfer. You're immediately eligible as long as you're in good academic standing. You can go wherever you want to next year, or you can go to the draft, or you can stay at Michigan. You can do what you want to. That way they don't get hurt. And if they want to play for a championship contender, okay, transfer to Georgia next year. If Georgia will have you, or Alabama will have you, or Ohio State will have you, do it. That's fine. But I'm just so frustrated because the victim card that Michigan is playing is really just sick.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know who the guy is. I guess he's the OC. That was, the pretending to be the head coach there, and had the, I don't come apart there at the end in the interview.
Sharon?
Look, I don't know. That sounds right.
And he did. Jim Harbaugh didn't die.
You know what? I look at things differently, obviously, and we all have a worldview. But can I just please say to I don't know what his name is, whatever your name is. If number one, when you say, let me start off by thanking God, okay? Okay, maybe he's got his priorities in order. And then the next thing out of your mouth is, F this, F that. Brother, it doesn't work like that.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. No, it doesn't work like that. He may think it does, but it doesn't work like that. So that's a bad look. I actually take offense to that. Now that's just my little thing.
Michigan is – look, and this is another reason why – to me it's just more guilt. Like an example like that shows me how poorly Michigan is run. For some reason, Harbaugh is getting some of these assistants and players to buy in, which should be applauded because they apparently do care about him and want to play for him. That's awesome. But it reminds me of when Joe Kynes took over for Mike Shula in the bowl game. and Joe Kynes had no business having a microphone in front of him. And at halftime of the Oklahoma State game, he gave some kind of speech that is now still probably one of the most viewed YouTube halftime speeches there's ever been. And all I could think was, see, this is the problem when we had a leader like Mike Shula, who, God bless him, I mean, I'm a Mike Shula fan. I like the guy, but it wasn't head coach material. And then his backup is Joe Kynes, who, again, loved the guy, pretty good defensive coordinator, pretty strong. I mean, had some good dudes, but he couldn't handle the moment. That tells me how the organization's run. You know, it tells me exactly how poorly things are disjointed. And I'm sure Michigan people love the fact that this guy got on there and cried and cussed his eyes out and also thanked God simultaneously. I'm sure Michigan fans love that because it did show some passion. There's no doubt about it. But it was pretty bad look. I mean, what it tells me is, like, this guy isn't ready to be a head coach either. And so he's not learning about being a head coach from Jim Harbaugh, who, by the way, is doing things like sleeping in folks' tree houses, or, you know, he's doing all these other gimmicky things during recruiting. It's just a sideshow.
Yeah. Still one of the greatest lines, I think, ever on ESPN. Former jackhammer operator Joe Kynes. Got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need. With top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill. And our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Black Friday deals are here all month long at Opelika Ford. Get 3.9% for 60 months on all new 2023 Ford F-150s, or 1.9% for 60 months on 2023 Ford Edges, only at Opelika Ford. Black Friday deals are here all month long at Opelika CDJR. Get 2.9% financing for 72 months on new Ram 1500, or 15% off MSRP on new Jeep Compass, only at Opelika CDJR.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Live program. Andy and Luke here with you. Thank you. We are brought to you each and every Tuesday evening by Sunshine Heating and Air. For all your heating and cooling needs, give Kevin Keel and his crew a call. Sunshine Heating and Air. Weather can't really make up its mind, so you never know it's going to be hot. You never know it's going to be cold these days, so you need both heating and cooling. If you have any problems with that, give them a call. They are outstanding at everything involved with air conditioning and heating. Luke, Auburn actually got a big win over the weekend. I don't know if you were aware of that. They went to Arkansas and beat the Razorbacks 48-10. The first complete game they've probably played since they beat LSU 48-11 back in 19.
Wasn't 19. LSU won it all.
Okay, 18 maybe.
Maybe 20.
I was thinking 18. That
Could have been
probably
18, yeah.
No, it was the year after.
So it was
So I
COVID
guess
year,
it was. Yeah, maybe it was 20. I don't know. I mean, look, everything you've said it many times that you'll play your best game once a year. You'll play your worst game once a year. And for every team, it seems like if you're worth anything, one game a year, everything just seems to go right. And it looked to me like Auburn had 13 guys out there playing on defense every time Arkansas snapped the ball. It just I don't know why that happens. It's just weird, kind of happens in football. Maybe different attitudes, different teams are at different places. Certain things happen. How do you explain Oklahoma State going to Central Florida and just getting waxed? It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
I mean, speaking of Oklahoma State, they get beat up pretty good at home by South Alabama, get waxed on the road at UCF, and then they're still able to beat Oklahoma. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
But that's why you play the games, and that's why Oklahoma State is Oklahoma State. If they were a little bit more consistent, they'd be in the top 10 all the time. But that's why they're Oklahoma State.
True.
And that's why Arkansas is Arkansas. How could they go to Florida and get a win, and then they come back home, and you think, okay, maybe firing Dan Enos helped them a lot. Sam Pittman sort of on the hot seat, and so doesn't he want to win this game? Really, I mean, frankly, now in hindsight, of course, as Pat Dye said, it's 50-50. But, you think back on it now, okay, maybe we gave Arkansas too much credit for that Florida game, number one.
Well, they're good enough to go on the road and play Alabama to a 3-point game. And if it was just one game, you'd say, okay, well, that was just – but they're good enough to go on the road to Ole Miss and have the lead in the fourth quarter.
But let me
they're
say,
good enough to play that LSU to a 3-point
and again,
game.
now we have a sample size, and so I know people have said that because people just look at the scores now. Alabama had a pretty commanding lead, and I think Ole Miss did too, if I remember right, on Arkansas. And what they did was it seemed like they just relaxed. Well, Arkansas has been a team that hadn't quit. Against LSU, I'm not as surprised that Arkansas was close to LSU because LSU didn't have much of a defense. Now, you can't stop Jaden Daniels. I think he should win the Heisman Trophy. But looking back now, I'm going, oh, this makes more sense now. Because Arkansas is getting beat up on the front end, but they just hadn't stopped. Well, I think they finally stopped. I mean, because in the second half, that did not look like a Sam Pittman coach team. I mean, there was no effort. There was no grind. There was no, hey, guys, we're getting waxed here at halftime, but, I mean, let's pick it up and see what happens. There was none of that. I mean, there was the game plan was bad. The defensive execution was bad. Auburn beat them in all three phases of the game soundly. I mean, it wasn't close. Frankly,
who would have thought the Polar Express would have that kind of effect?
Yeah, watching the Polar Express at halftime, that would send me over the edge as a fan. I'd be like, he's got to go.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.
I don't know how. I mean, I guess I say I don't know how he could survive. I do know how, because it'd be a situation of money. And if my buddy with Locked On Razorbacks is right that, hey, if he has a 500 record, he his buyout is $16 million versus $10 million. You go, what's the big deal? $6 million is still a lot of money. And
that's 500. So Arkansas came in at 3-6. They're now 3-7, right?
Correct, but it's overall. like his whole
his career.
Yeah, his Arkansas career.
Ah, I see.
So, if it is a $6 million difference,
and what's his record right now? Do we know?
I think it's right at 500 right now.
Okay, and they got what left? Florida International.
Florida International, and I think
the way they played Saturday, they won't beat Florida International.
Well, that was his point. Was like that's the only hope. If Florida International can get the win, because he's like Look, we've all been there with coaches. You guys were just there with Brian Harsin. Shoot, y'all were there with Gus Malzahn on several occasions. I was there with Dubose and Shula, and where you get to a point you're like, I can't even get behind this guy anymore. Even when we win, I don't feel good. Even I want us to win every time. I can't pull against us, but it's one of those things where you're like, I know greater good is for us to lose. I just can't pull for it.
Yeah.
And so I think Sam Pittman's at that point. And again, Arkansas needs something fun and sexy now. They tried that with Chad Morris. They tried that with Petrino. It doesn't always work out. And even if you try to go a route that you think is going to be successful, it doesn't always work.
How about a Bob Petrino redux?
No, I think, look, they didn't even name him the interim at Texas A&M. So, yeah, I think I thought, by the way, going back to A&M for just a second, I thought some of the comments made by Ross Bjork about how we know what's coming down the track very quickly, and I assume he means National Signing Day, and I assume he means NIL, so we got to make sure everybody's still getting all their NIL money and getting all their whatever. I just find it weird that people are talking about that now so overtly. But going back to the Auburn game, I mean, look, Auburn did what they were supposed to do. I mean, yeah, Arkansas looked checked out, but give Auburn credit for doing what you do to teams who were checked out. Auburn just kept beating on them. You don't stop. You don't get checked out with them.
No.
Well,
I mean, it was the first time that I think Auburn actually felt like a good team. I mean, themselves. And again, thank God bless Arkansas, but you would expect to get better against Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas, and you would expect to look a lot better than you did against Georgia, Ole Miss, and LSU, and they do. But I think it's a little unfair just to say, okay, well, that's all that is. They have, I've said it many times, and I'll say it again, confidence is one of the more underrated aspects of sports. And when you get it, it elevates your play tremendously. And so, take care of business against New Mexico State, who is not a bad team, by the way.
They're going to play in the championship game of their conference.
And, I mean, Alabama plays Chattanooga. They're 7-3. So, I mean, all of a sudden these little wimpy teams are no longer coming in with 2 wins. But nonetheless, you take care of business, and hey, you got the Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare. You're playing. You're feeling a lot better. I look back 3 weeks. This is exactly what I said. If Auburn could take care of business and win these games and gain some confidence, it could be, a decent game on Saturday. So we got to take a break, but don't go anywhere. We'll come back. We'll talk about Alabama's win over Kentucky. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This is Joseph Dean with Alabama Funeral Homes. As many of you are aware, we had a fire that significantly damaged our facilities. We were in the process of getting those rebuilt. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused the families that we serve. I want you to know that we are capable of handling all of your needs at Frederick Dean Funeral Home of Opelika, which will be servicing Alabama Funeral Homes families. We can be reached at our same number, 256-896-4502, or by email at joseph@alabamafuneralhomes.com.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Frontline Outfitters provides all your aftermarket parts for your cars, trucks, and as well as your professional tinting solutions for auto, residential, and commercial building. Frontline Outfitters also handles vinyl wraps, spray-in bed liners, truck accessories, LED lighting, paint correction and detailing, and much more. Make sure Frontline Outfitters of Alexander City is your first call for tinting and aftermarket solutions. Call us today, 256-409-8100.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Just a couple more segments in the first hour of tonight's program. Alabama goes to Kentucky. Alabama continues to look better and better. The offense is getting more and more balanced and more effective, especially with, obviously, the emergence of Jalen Milroe. They take care of business. They much like the Auburn game. They jump out to a big lead, and then they just kind of build on it in the second half. So your impressions of this game, you were there.
Yeah, and look, if you've never been, I would highly recommend anybody who's never been to Lexington. It's a pretty fun trip. Their stadium is fine. It's not, it's not one of the more grandiose.
Isn't it Kroger or something?
Yeah, it's Kroger Field,
Okay.
and the field is gorgeous. I mean, like, their grass may actually be the best.
Does it have
Like
that
their
supermarket smell to it?
It's got a supermarket smell, and that there's something about that deep blue they use in the end zones, and it's really pretty. And like when you go up north about this time of year, if it's not like terribly snowy, the grass really is kind of cool. But you go up there and you go to the distilleries. We went to Woodford Reserve and Bardstown Bourbon Company or whatever it was. A lot of cool stuff. They love their horses and all that, and that's cool. But regardless, Alabama comes out, they score, and Jalen Milroe actually goes through his reads and he does his thing. He's looking very good. It was kind of funny. I mean, not funny, I don't guess, but he gets hurt on the first drive, and I thought it was a cramp, but it took him a minute to get back up. It turns out he got hit on his quad, and it sort of bothered him the rest of the game. But I mean, I looked around and there was a big Alabama contingent there, and you could see the looks on their faces like, oh God. And what's funny is 6 weeks ago, this same group of people been like, thank God we get to try Ty Simpson out. To give Ty Simpson credit, he came in late in the game and then for that one play, and he looked really good, to be honest with you. But then Alabama goes up 21-0. They're getting the ball back, and this is where it is. You said it's like Arkansas, and it kind of is, except this. Alabama muffs the punt. Kool-Aid does. I think if the gunner runs into him, I mean, did it go out of bounds? I couldn't tell. I still couldn't tell, so I guess you got to go with the call on the field. But if that doesn't happen, I think Kentucky does completely check out like what Arkansas did. Instead, it gave them hope, and they ended up scoring on that drive. Look, Alabama ended up – it was never closer than 14 points from there on in, but regardless, it was just one of those things that it lets you know this Alabama team is a lot better, but they have not completely arrived just yet. There were a lot of other positives, though. The offensive line looking a lot better. They don't give up a sack. Defensively, Caleb Downs is still, I mean, in my opinion, looks like the best defensive freshman in the country. He is playing incredibly well. Their NFL scouts tweeting about him like, oh, we can't wait till this guy gets older. Kool-Aid. Terrion Arnold's playing wonderfully. And so there were, the running game was nice. It wasn't great. It was fine. And then Will Reichert moves, I think he's within 22 points of being the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history. So that's positive. There were a lot of good things to take. And you go on the road in the SEC and you get a win. And Kentucky is not, Kentucky's not Vanderbilt. I mean, Kentucky's not bad. I mean, they're not great. They're not as good as I thought they'd be. But they're not a bad team. They could beat a lot of teams. And Alabama handled them from start to finish. And so the thing that's best, though, is seeing Milroe get better without feeling like he's reached his complete peak yet. That's what I'm happy about, because I think he's going to need his peak for the couple of games down the stretch. It's going to be, he's played in some loud environments like Mississippi State with the cowbells. And Texas A&M was pretty raucous when he played there. And, Kentucky, it wasn't that big a deal. In fact, there were a lot more Alabama fans towards the end. But going into Jordan Hare is going to be a little different, and they're going to be pumped up. And then regardless if you're able to navigate that for a win or not, you play Georgia the next week, and Mercedes-Benz Stadium is going to be rocking. It's going to be insane. And you got some big tests coming up. He's going to have to be ready for them. One of my highlights was after the game, there's 11 o'clock games, especially on the road. You don't really know what to do. I mean, you don't really want to go back to the hotel, but you kind of at the same time, I mean, like me personally, I'd have been fine going to the hotel, but everybody else sort of wanted to go hang out and check out the bar scene. So I went and watched some of the Auburn game and some of the Tennessee-Missouri game. And then we went to one other place towards the end of the night to watch Georgia and Texas, et cetera. And Jalen Milroe's dad just happened to be there with a big crowd full of people, so I got a picture made with him. And it was funny. I told him, I said, hey, love him, really appreciate, what he's doing. He's doing fantastic, and he's like, he was really thankful. But what's funny is, so I tweet that, and somebody commented that listens to my podcast is like, well, did you tell him that you had doubted him early in the year? I was like, well, number one, that'd be really rude. Like if I just went, hey, man, can I get a picture of you? I just want to let you know I didn't think your son was going to make it. But number two, I said, that's the best thing about Jalen Milroe to me right now is the growth. Like he's gotten so much better than I thought he could. We kept talking about a ceiling, but honestly, we didn't have a lot of evidence that he was going to be able to do some of the things he's doing now. He's still not the best quarterback in the conference, but I could certainly make the argument he's the second best quarterback. If you want to say Carson Beck is, okay, I can buy that too. But my point is 6-7 weeks ago, Jalen Milroe was, he was somewhere just above Peyton Thorne, who at the time everybody wanted out. Yeah. So, I mean, they were both sort of grouped in there together. And now, honestly, both of them have made some serious strides, and it is about confidence as much as anything. So I said, to me, that's the thing that makes me like him even more is this is a kid that, frankly, I really believe this. Alabama coaches thought he would transfer in the summer because they brought in guys. They were trying, Ty Simpson, whatever, and he stuck it out. And the whole time, he didn't handle the benching at Texas very well. Who would have? I don't fault him for that. But he paid the price for that. He sits out South Florida. And after that, he could have pouted and just, I quit and I'm leaving and I'm in the portal and here I go. And all he's done is he's really flashed his $1 million smile a lot more since then. I mean, every interview after every game, he ends it with like some kind of variation of Roll Tide. He's just a guy that is, he sort of deviates from the more business-like approach of a Bryce Young, of even a Tua or a Mac Jones or even a Jalen Hurts. These guys that have had all this success and all of them have gone into the NFL. And Jalen Milroe sort of, he's having more fun. It was funny before the game, we were talking about, all right, who would you bet on, hypothetically? Who would you bet on? And some of my buddies were like, I think Kentucky's going to keep it close. We're on the road, it's 11 o'clock, whatever. I said, I'm telling you right now, Alabama's having fun playing football. It's different. We're not going out there just business-like, joyless murder ball. They're having fun. Now, when you have fun, you make more mistakes sometimes, but they're having fun. And it was the reverse. Like they were like, I think Auburn's going to kill Arkansas. And I said, I feel like Arkansas may have turned the corner when they fired Dan Enos. So, I mean, I was 1 for 1, but so were they.
Yeah.
So, regardless, it's funny how a little levity, a little confidence can go a long way. And you're right. I mean, it's that way with Peyton Thorne. It's that way with Jalen Milroe. And when the quarterbacks get it, whichever way the quarterbacks go, the team tends to go that way because it's the most important position in sports.
No question. Up against another break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
It's truck season at Sarah Automotive. New Honda Ridgelines, $349 a month. Ford Rangers, $357 a month. Nissan Frontiers, $379 a month. And Chevrolet Silverados, $399 a month at Sarah Automotive. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty, no charge, engine, powertrain, and more. It's truck season at Sarah Honda, Tony Sarah Ford, Sarah Nissan, and Sarah Chevrolet.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City, Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry? The same professionals you've trusted with your urgent care is now your primary health provider, Main Street Family Care. We provide annual physical exams as well as monitoring health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and more. All major insurances accepted, Medicaid, Medicare, and have self-pay options to accommodate everyone. See us in Alex City, just across from Walmart. Your care is our primary concern.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast. Lay your best to rest. Call the best. Lewis Pest Control.
Lewis Pest Control is now serving Alexander City and the entire Lake Martin area. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. Whether it's residential, commercial, or industrial, Lewis has environmentally safe products for all your pest control needs. Lewis Pest Control.
Lay your best to rest. Call the best. Lewis Pest Control.
Let Riverbank and Trust open doors for you. Whether you're purchasing land, a lot by the lake, or building or buying a home, begin with Tallapoosa County's loan experts. They'll guide you through the entire process, providing local decision-making, prompt responses, and the best real estate loan solutions for your unique needs. And in most cases, Riverbank and Trust can close your loan in 30 days or less, and they'll walk by your side every step of the way. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. We invite you to experience it for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Just one final segment in the first hour of tonight's program. Breaking up the levity here a little bit, Luke. We did something last week. I got on a tinge, so I kind of got an itch for it. 80s movies showdown here tonight.
Well, that's not breaking up the levity. That's adding to the levity.
Well, I'm trying to. It's levity for us, but for everybody else, it's kind of boring.
It's depressing.
So we did. This is one of these internet lists, okay? And I looked at. They had like the top 50. I took the top 24, and there were some movies in there. And I don't agree with this list, but it is a list, and we're going to do what I said right now in this segment, and then we're going to come back. We're going to do a first round. We got top 16. 80s movies, all genres, right here. Okay. It creates some. The reason I use this list because it creates some very interesting matchups.
It does.
So we're going to take 116, 215, and then we'll come back in the next later on in the program, and we'll finish it out.
That's what we call a teaser.
This is what we in the business call a teaser. All right, and again, you tell me how insane this is or not. They have number one 80s movie, Blue Velvet.
Come on.
That's what I mean.
Come on.
I'm telling you.
I like it. And the whole thing, he finds the ear in the paper sack and all that. I like it.
Okay.
But come on. It's not the number one 80s movie. I mean, it's not even my top 10. And see, the whole thing about the 80s is just so blaring and fluorescent that I think to say what the number one movie is, it'd have to be something loud and in your face and over the top. And while Blue Velvet might be a little over the top, I would hardly call it loud and in your face. It certainly wasn't mainstream.
No, it was not that for sure. All right, so I'm telling.
That's fine. You seed them the way you want to. I mean, this is
this is their list.
I know they seeded St. Joseph's number one. Okay, whatever.
But I'm already telling you, there's going to be a historic 16-1 upset.
Oh yeah, there could be
because number 20, Airplane.
Oh God. Wait a minute, number 20 is Airplane or number 24?
Number 20. Number 16. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're doing the top 16.
Yeah. Oh, that's
number 16 is Airplane.
This is not even an upset. This Airplane is more one than Blue Velvet is.
I agree 100%. So there you go. Right off the bat.
Here's how you figure this. If you don't have Airplane in the top 24, people are going to invalidate your list. If you don't put Blue Velvet in your top 100, nobody's going to notice.
I would agree 100%. All right, here we go. Now, this one again. Okay, so here's an interesting matchup. Number 2 seed, Blade Runner, versus number 15 seed, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay, I'm
completely different genres.
It is, but I'm going Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I appreciate Blade Runner. I liked it. It doesn't capture my imagination the way it captured a lot of people. And Fast Times still does have one of the more iconic movie scenes of the last 50 years.
I really like Blade Runner. But I am not going against Phoebe Cates.
Phoebe Cates topless is winning that all day. Harrison Ford topless would not defeat Phoebe Cates topless. I'm sorry. No. Even women agree with me on this.
I agree. Yeah, they agree. Okay, so 2 upsets right off the bat. Number 3, E.T. Number 3 seed, E.T. The 14 seed, Stand By Me.
I mean, I'm going E.T. This seems pretty obvious. Again, try to show E.T. to a kid now, and they're like, how did y'all even begin to think any of this was good? I mean, because the animatronics and the whatever, it's not great. Okay, you had to suspend disbelief for a little bit,
Well, we didn't. They might.
No,
but I mean,
well, we did in the sense that we overlooked little things.
But I mean, when the kid took off, when Elliot took off on the bike, we were all like, oh my God.
Like now,
that's the greatest thing ever.
It was, but you could, it was all sort of barely. Like now, if somebody took off on a bike, there might actually be a bike that can fly.
Hey, this is true. Yeah. So I mean, watching it today, but I mean, when I was 8,
I know
it was great. So,
and the one thing that I hope I can say this. I mean, it wasn't a G movie or PG.
I think it was PG. I mean, that whole business when he died, that's
bad. But okay, I'm going to say it, and then if Brett and Randy fire me, so be it. But remember, like, they're around the breakfast table, and they said something like the kids were getting in a fight, and one of them called the other one penis breath. You remember that? I'd never heard that before, and I was like, that's actually a good insult, and I don't know why more people don't use that. That is a very, very good insult.
That is true.
They said that on the movie.
Wow.
And it blew me away because it was a kid who was just a little younger than me, and I was like, that's good. I was like, that's good writing.
Bravo.
That makes a lot of sense.
So you're a little older than me. It went over my head because I was that young. So
that went over. Wait a minute. That went over your head. I'm sorry. That seems pretty on the nose. I don't know how that goes over your head.
Well, let's not even. I will go.
If I wasn't fired before, I am now.
Yeah, really. Stand By Me. That's one of my favorite movies, man. I can't go against Stand By Me.
Sure, you
Stand By Me is one of the classics of all time. Look, I know E.T. is too. But
it's a tough matchup, and I'm not faulting you for Stand By Me. Stand By Me is very good.
Yeah, I will cede this one to you though.
I think you should, because I think more people would be on my side.
E.T. is E.T.
Look, I'm going to tell you, I'd be shocked if there's like 2 people watching. I could probably stop this sentence. I'd be shocked if there are 2 people watching that disagree with me on any of my picks so far.
I would agree with that. I have a TV tray of E.T. from 1980.
Do you have a lunchbox of Stand By Me?
I do not have a lunchbox or anything of Stand By Me. Okay. So that's kind of the.
By the way, that's another way we could rate these. Did you or did you not have a lunchbox?
True.
Of that particular movie.
That's true. Okay. All right, number 4 seed, The Shining, versus number 13 seed, The Road Warrior.
Oh, The Shining.
Look, now, The Road Warrior's underrated.
It is.
In this list, anyway.
It is, and I like it. It's fine. The Shining is
It's iconic.
And really,
both are iconic.
When you say The Road Warrior now, people may think you're actually talking about the remake.
Yeah.
If we do a Shining remake.
I'm talking about Mel Gibson.
I know. If you do a Shining remake, you're not out shining Jack Nicholson.
No, you're not.
Nicholson. I always say I'm wrong the first time.
All right, quickly, let's get through these. Number 5 seed, Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Versus number 12 seed, The Breakfast Club.
This may be a shock to some people. I'm going to go Breakfast Club, and here's my reasoning. Ghostbusters 2 was so bad, it took the edge off of Ghostbusters for me. And also, I can't believe they're still doing Ghostbusters. Like, there's going to be a new Ghostbusters about something about Frozen Nightmare or something like that. And the trailer looks so bad. And it was so good. Why did y'all do this to it? Don't do anything else to it. It was so good.
Oh, yeah.
Ghostbusters 2 is an all-time bad movie.
No, it wasn't
It's
bad.
an all-time.
It was not.
It's not
that
Caddyshack 2, but it's in the area code.
I don't even think it's in the area code. But it's not good. It's not good as far as being that, a sequel to that movie. All right, I would agree. It's Breakfast Club all day long for me. All right, the 6-11 matchup. Wow, Aliens. The 6th seed. Aliens. Well, 79.
79 was yeah, okay.
Versus the 11 seed, Die Hard.
Oh man! Well,
Die Hard versus Aliens.
Oh. All right, I love Aliens. I do, and I think it's great, and it's a great universe. It's a fantastic. They're still. I just saw something today. They're coming out with a whole new comic about it, a new take on it. I mean, you can do so much with it. But Die Hard's Die Hard. I mean, Nakatomi Building. I mean, I can't. I'm not going against. Die Hard's going to be tough to beat in this tournament.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
I'll give you this one. Whatever you want to go with.
I got to go Die Hard, too. I mean, I got to say, I've seen Die Hard more than I've seen Aliens. And I've seen them both probably at least 20 times a piece.
Game over, man. That's still great in Aliens. But when the look on, what was that actor's name? He died recently. The German.
Hans
Gruber.
Yeah, Hans.
But when she unhooks the watch, and he falls, and the look on his face is just so good.
Yes, it is.
And the cop from Full House is in it, and
eating Twinkies.
He's really about as good a cop in that as he is in Full House. It was like he never broke character.
All right, the final 7-10 matchup: Raiders of the Lost Ark 7 seed versus the Empire Strikes Back 10 seed.
Oh, that's. First of all, both of them seated too low. It's not fair. But it's got to be Empire Strikes Back, which I think
really.
I think Empire Strikes Back is the best of the Star Wars.
I do too. But Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the greatest adventure movies of all time.
Agreed. But I mean,
I'll
defer to you. I'll defer to you.
But I got to go with Raiders here.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it because this is how dumb this list was in the sense that those are the 7-10. That's dumb.
I agree, but that's just the way it worked out. All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the SEC and what happened there. No, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more right after this.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is serving up all your favorites: shrimp and grits, po' boys, tacos, seafood platters, and so much more. Don't miss out on our famous loaded fried green tomatoes. Wharf Casual Seafood is located on Highway 280 next to Regions Bank.
The Alabama Slammer. It's a popular drink at parties, but drink too many and you'll wind up in this Alabama Slammer. And if you drink and drive, get ready for a real Alabama Slammer. If you're involved in a crash where a driver's been drinking, you're 4 times more likely to die.
Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
Welcome back, everyone, to hour number 2 of Sports Blitz Live. Andy Graham and Luke Robinson here with you, taking you up to 9 o'clock. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. Let us know what's on your mind, or dial us up on the Sports Blitz Facebook page, that's Sports with a Z, and comment away. If you got any thought about the movies, 80s movies, Showdown, by all means. I neglected the 8-9 matchup because it's so bad. And again, I don't agree with this list, but I'm just using this list because it was on the interweb. Number 8 seed Raging Bull versus number 9 seed Do the Right Thing. I don't
matchup.
I don't even know.
That's like if you.
I mean, I know Raging Bull is a classic.
That would be the
so
game
to
on
speak.
True TV. Providence against Washington State. 8-9. You know.
That's true. Who do you? I have no. I don't even know. I'll let you.
I mean,
I can go ahead and tell you they're going to be out in the next round.
Yeah, I would lean Do the Right Thing just barely, because it was sort of groundbreaking. And when people say Do the Right Thing, I mean, they know what you're talking about. Raging Bull, if you had told me, I would have probably said that was a 70s movie.
It is early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, De Niro.
Yeah, De Niro's in it, whatever, that's great.
What's his name? Joe Pesci's in it as well. Martin Scorsese versus Spike Lee. So, I mean, it you know. Anyway, so we'll come back at the end of the show and we'll kind of.
I think Do the Right Thing also had Fight the Power by Public Enemy. So
I think that is correct.
I will give him that.
All right, the SEC, what went on? How about Georgia just telling Ole Miss, have a seat?
Well, it was bad luck for Ole Miss. I mean, I can't believe CBS didn't choose that game. You know, at least have it at 2:30. I mean, it was a night game. They were worked into a fever pitch. And
well, it kind of worked out well because, I mean, it poured down rain, I think, in Georgia most of the day.
That's right.
And it kind of slacked up, at least for the game.
That's right. But, yeah, I think it also – Lane Kiffin said something about they got X amount of 4 and 5 stars, and we got X amount of 4 and 5 stars less. So, you know, in the end, that's what it all comes down to. I mean, Georgia's going to out-talent most everybody. And Ole Miss can put up a fight. Ole Miss has got a good quarterback. They usually have a good scheme. They got Suntarian Perkins, who I think is fantastic. They've got Quinshon Judkins, who is maybe the best running back in this conference. But they don't have enough dudes. You know, they've got some dudes. They just don't have enough dudes.
It seems like to me, and maybe I just have a wrong impression, I don't know, but it seems to me that Lane Kiffin doesn't really like recruiting, and he likes to complain about recruiting. He thinks that he can outcoach anybody and win except Alabama and Georgia because they have so much more talent than he does. But he wants somebody to just deliver the talent to his door. That seems to be his attitude. Maybe I'm wrong.
That seems to be his attitude about dating sometimes. But, yeah, no, I feel like that
isn't that what recruiting is?
Yeah. I feel like he doesn't seem to love recruiting, but, I mean, again, I'll give him credit for getting Perkins last year. I mean, I was dying for Alabama to get that kid. He's unbelievable to me. And Quinshon Judkins, I mean, Alabama didn't really go after him. Auburn didn't really go after him. You know, Ole Miss was all in on him, and it worked out well. He had a good eye for that, and he's going to hit the transfer portal. He's going to be able to get some. Let me tell you something. His receivers always seem to come up with the catch of the year. He hadn't had
phenomenal.
He hadn't had Amari Cooper. You know, he hadn't had Devontae Smith. I mean, he's had some nice receivers. They're pretty good, but it seems like he turns them into a lot better than maybe somewhere else would. And, you know, but in the end, he doesn't seem to have the horses up front on either the offensive or defensive lines to really make it where, okay, we could even this thing out. Because Lane Kiffin does have a good scheme. He's very confident in what he can do. But in the end, I mean, look, if that game had been in Oxford, maybe there would have been a shot. But the talent discrepancy became so evident later on in that game where Georgia was just beating them up.
Yeah, that game was over quickly. One of the surprising outcomes, I think, Missouri 36, Tennessee 7.
And, you know, Eli Drinkwitz had to get some joy out of calling a timeout right before Tennessee was trying to kick a field goal in a game that was out of reach. And he didn't want them to get to double digits. And he called timeout, and it ends up working. They missed the field goal. Drink can coach a little bit. He can coach, and he's recruiting really well for Missouri. So I think somebody could do a lot worse if they went after Eli Drinkwitz. But, you know, if you're Tennessee, and I mean, it's so funny. I mean, I looked at Tennessee Twitter afterwards because I thought Tennessee would win that game. I was looking at Tennessee Twitter afterwards, and they're still having come-aparts about, you know, we got screwed by the officials again. I mean, they're just in that mode where they can't accept defeat. And, frankly, Missouri looked like a lot better team than they did.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia going to Tennessee this week, I mean.
Yeah, I think this is Georgia going to beat their brakes off because Tennessee seems to be in that mode of, you know, Josh Heupel's had a couple of things to say after the Alabama game or things not to say. And then after the Kentucky game, he had some things. After this game, there were some intimations about still hadn't had a holding call on our opponent in the last 3 or 4 games or whatever. And, yeah, that is odd. I mean, that's not necessarily normal. But it's not like – I don't think people call holding like they used to. We used to see like 3 or 4 holding calls a game for both sides. I don't see that anymore, ever. Yeah. You know, I see maybe 1 or 2 per team per game.
It has to be obvious, that's for sure.
Which I'm okay with.
Oh, yeah. I'd rather it be like that than call it every other play.
I mean, again, we all believe you can call holding anytime you want to. That doesn't mean you should call it every single time it happens.
LSU, they take care of Florida, give up 35 points, which you would expect LSU's defense to do. But my goodness, Jaden Daniels, 372 yards passing, 234 yards rushing, 6 TDs.
Over 600 yards total offense by himself. I don't see how he doesn't win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, again, there'll be some people that want to vote for Bo Nix because he is leading a very prolific offense in Oregon.
He threw for over 400 yards himself.
And that's wonderful. I think that's great. I think he's also got a lot more help, and I think he plays in a lot easier conference. And I think Jaden Daniels has had to play some really, really tough competition. When you play Florida State, and you play Ole Miss, and you play Alabama, all those, now Ole Miss won't be in the top 10 this week, but you play those three, they're all in the top 10. All three of them going into this weekend were in the conversation for the playoffs. I mean, Oregon just doesn't have that schedule. So, and, Oregon, he threw for 400. He did it against USC's defense. What would Jaden Daniels do against USC's defense? Light them up like Clark Griswold's house at Christmas. I mean, that's what he'd do. I think he's the better player. I would have no problem if Bo Nix won it. I understand because they are still sort of in the hunt, and a lot of people think it's the best player on the best team, whatever, or at least closest to that. Jaden Daniels is the best player in America. I'm as shocked as anybody I'm saying that because at the beginning of the year I kept saying I think he's good. I don't think he's, Joe Burrow, Tua, Bryce Young good. He's right there with them. He's not far. If he's not there, he's right there. I just think he's really, really good, and he would get my vote. And, I'm an Alabama fan voting for an LSU dude very unbiasedly.
Up against another break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal. The encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
If you're looking for something to do in the Lake Martin area, you have to go to Liquor by the Lake. Liquor by the Lake is not only the best place to pick up your hard-to-find liquors and craft beers, there's a bar. An awesome bar serving up specialty cocktails and martinis. And the best bushwhacker and creamsicle drinks at Lake Martin. Make plans to come out for happy hour Fridays from 7 to 9 with half-price beer and cocktails. And there's live entertainment on Thursdays. You can even watch the Alabama and Auburn games and Sunday and Monday night football. Liquor by the Lake located on Highway 49 in the Big Fish Complex near Stillwaters. Open at 1 every day but closed on Wednesday. Come see us.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Truckloads of new and used models. Over 200 on the ground or on the way to Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cabs. Discounted up to $10,750 off. The best-selling and well-equipped new Chevrolet Equinox. Discounted up to $6,000 off. Enjoy no payments till springtime.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith Chevrolet on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. Just about 45 more minutes left in tonight's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us tonight. Texas A&M and Mississippi State got together over the weekend as well. And as Bill Walton once said, there are no winners here at all. Look, I mean, Randy did have a good point today on the show. You beat somebody 51-10 and you get fired. That is an odd dynamic.
Well, didn't Gus Malzahn beat Mississippi State pretty good on the road?
Well, we beat them. I don't know how bad it was, but we did win that game. Yeah, we danced. Yeah.
Yeah, 51-10. What it lets you know is they had already decided before the game.
Oh, yeah. There's no question about that. You okay with them firing Zach Arnett 1 year into this?
Yeah, I mean, that was going to happen. Now, and the buyout was nothing, and you can't do – what are you going to do? You're going to give them an extension? I mean, if you don't give somebody an extension these days, kids think you're firing them, so they don't want to go play for them. And, I mean, the recruiting's already in pretty dire situation as it is. Yeah, I think you had to fire him. I mean, there was nothing about him that said head coach. I mean, I think Zach Arnett would even say now, like, looking back on this, I was not ready for this.
He'd probably make a good DC for somebody out there.
He might. If I were him, I'd chill a year, you know.
All right.
Sort of get this off of me.
Okay. Let me say one thing about Jimbo, or one thing about Texas A&M. Okay, Jimbo is lured away from Florida State. Not that I don't think he really wanted to be there. You know, he was looking to get somebody somewhere else. But we all looked at that, 10 years, $75 million. Okay? All guaranteed. No buyout, no. It's just all guaranteed. And we all looked at that and said, oh, man, that is insane. But, okay, fine. If I'm Texas A&M, that's fine. If that you did what you needed to do and you got the coach that you wanted, and you're saying, okay, we're going to get, you got a decade to figure this out, and we're going to give you $75 million. It's just a done deal. Wonderful. Then think about you're 6 years into this thing, and you have you're paying him $7.5 million a year.
You've already given him an extension.
No. I'm just saying. But if you're 6 years into this thing, and you're paying him $7.5 million a year, you went 9-4, 8-5, 9-1, 8-4, 5-7, 6-4. You would say, okay, you got your $75 million. We've paid you, whatever, $48 million of it or whatever, and you just take the rest and go home. The problem was, why in the world, who in their right mind said in 2021, we got to tie this guy up for 10 more years and give him more money? That was the dumbest. I mean, whoever cooked that up, and I don't know, was that Bjork? Because if it was, he ought to be fired. That's the dumbest thing. I mean,
it's pretty irresponsible. That said,
what had he done to earn more money? He had one good year in COVID.
SEC Shorts did a great skit about it. Like, you got no SEC West championships. You don't even tie for one.
No.
You got obviously no SEC titles, no playoff appearances. Yeah, they finished fifth in the playoffs in 2020. And maybe you could make the case maybe they should have gone, but they didn't. And that's it. You either go or you don't go. It's a zero-sum thing. And you got no Heisman winners under his leadership. You've got – I don't know that you won any individual awards for anybody.
Well, the biggest indictment is the program is no better or worse than it was when you got it.
Well, okay, I'll say this. I don't know that it's worse. I would say the feeling around the program is worse. Like, if I was an A&M fan, I'd feel pretty crestfallen. And I don't use that term lightly or very much. But crestfallen seems like a great word to use here. Because you did something everybody thought was crazy and too big to fail, and it still failed. And meanwhile, Texas is coming into your conference where you had been, you hadn't been thriving or anything, but you had that. You had that to cling to, like, we're in the SEC. What are you? You're in the Big 12, whoop-de-whoop. And now Texas is like, no, we're coming over here. And Texas is probably in the playoffs this year. And here you are again, not even in the top 25. And, what is your claim to fame? His whole tenure, the best thing he did was he beat Alabama at home on a crazy game, last-second field goal, whatever. Kudos. What's the next biggest win? Beating LSU in 7 overtimes?
Probably.
Then where do you go? I mean, seriously. I mean, he didn't. It's not like he was beating up on powerhouse Auburn teams. He wasn't beating up on powerhouse Arkansas teams led by Mount Jones. He wasn't. I don't know what his record was against LSU. It couldn't have been great.
What was he, 3-3 against Auburn?
Was he? I don't know.
I mean, he lost.
They won in 20. They won this year. They won last year, didn't they?
No.
No, Cornell beat them. And the year before that, at A&M.
I think Auburn won, didn't they?
Harsin beat him there?
No, surely not.
There's no way. I don't remember it, and there's no way that happened. No, he didn't happen.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I think he might have been 4-2 against him.
Okay.
But whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, it wasn't like he was beating Pat Dye late 80s teams. He was beating, an Auburn program that was, floundering a little bit. So he's got nothing to sink his teeth into. He didn't even play Georgia. He played Georgia once.
But I go back to my point. I mean, I don't, looking back on this thing, I mean, there's nothing wrong with 10 years, $75 million. In fact, that's obscene in itself. So what is this impetus to want to give him more?
You're throwing good money after bad.
And I mean this for every school. If you want to create a contract like that, fine, let it play out.
Or at least, if, you don't have to re-up year 6, but if you see good things, and he's done some good things this year 8, and you're like, we want to reward you.
In year 8?
Year 8,
yeah,
and he's done some things.
And he's done.
He had done nothing.
And he's gotten to the SEC title game.
Yeah. He had done nothing. I mean, here's a good question.
People are just stupid. People are just, they're the worst.
Especially now, Andy, especially now. I would say the odds of Oklahoma or Texas getting to Atlanta are much better than A&M's, especially considering now the league is taking the top 2 teams. You're not taking somebody from the East who maybe doesn't deserve it, where the West is loaded, or vice versa. You're taking the best 2 teams no matter what they are, because there's no more divisions. So I would say that, there's a much better shot that Texas or Oklahoma makes it to Atlanta, or both, but to make it to Atlanta before Texas A&M does.
Up against another break. More to come right after these messages.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Have you stopped by Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store lately? If you haven't, you should. You'll find great pieces for your favorite do-it-yourself project. Lightly used name brand clothing by Free People, North Face, Matilda Jane, Patagonia, and a whole lot more. And while you're there, don't miss the shoes, decorative pieces, classic and new books, and Auburn and Alabama gear that won't cost you a fortune. So stop and shop at Lifesavers Mission Thrift Store today for a unique thrift experience that won't break the budget. Lifesavers Mission Thrift, located on East University behind Zaxby's.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today. Lake Area Realty at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at DunningRoofingAL.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live. Andy and Luke here with you. A few more segments left in tonight's show. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us. The college football rankings are out. Georgia back at number 1, Ohio State number 2, Michigan number 3, and Washington number 4 on the outside looking in. Oregon and Texas, it looks like. Your thoughts?
Wait a minute, it goes. Yeah, Florida State 4, Washington
Florida
5.
State.
Yeah, Washington 5.
Washington 5. Okay.
Oregon 6, Texas
Oregon
7,
6.
Bama 8.
Okay, I see.
And I'm getting
Left them out.
Again, call me a homer, fine. I have a hard time understanding. I understand Texas had Alabama right now. I get that. I do. I understand it. Why is Oregon ahead of both of them? That doesn't make sense to me.
One loss is to the team that's number 4.
Okay, that's fine. Again, it's no problem. Tell me what their good wins are.
USC.
The USC is not good. Then I want to tell you Alabama's played 3 teams that are in the top 25. They've played the Heisman Trophy front runner, if you ask me. I'm going to tell you Texas beat Alabama. I think Texas and Alabama should be ahead of Oregon. That's me. And I feel like eventually that will happen regardless. And I'm also of the mind that if Alabama wins out, no matter what Texas does, I think if Alabama goes and beats an undefeated Georgia team, assuming Georgia wins out, that until the SEC title game, that I think Alabama would jump Texas. And there'll be a lot of people having a fit. Well, the first game doesn't. Yes, that head-to-head matchup definitely does matter. 100% it matters. At the same time, you need to look and see the whole body of work. That one game can't be what defines the whole thing. I think that you have to look at the whole body of work. That's me.
I can't go along with that.
Well, so tell me what Texas's good wins will be then. Besides Alabama, give me another good win.
If they run the table,
yeah,
and win the Big 12 title,
right,
and finish with 1 loss, I mean, wins and losses have to matter.
They do matter, and that's why I'm telling you to look at the body of work.
Head-to-head has to be the number 1 factor in that situation.
I don't know if
you cannot.
Well, first of all, you can. I understand.
No.
Yes, you can.
No, you cannot, in good conscience.
Oh, sure you can.
Jump Alabama over Texas.
Come
you
on.
may make a great argument for it. You may say there's a lot of reasons, and there might be. But to me, as a traditionalist, wins and losses head-to-head has to matter.
It's mattering right now.
No. I'm just saying if that scenario presents itself.
It's mattering.
Which is unlikely to me to see that that's going to be the determining factor.
I don't know that it will, and that's why I haven't really pushed it because I'm like, there's so much football left to play. Shoot, Texas got to play at Iowa State this weekend. And Iowa State's not awesome, but that's going to be that's going to be a tougher game, especially considering that Texas, you look at Texas right now too. They take into account things like injuries. They just lost their starting running back for the year to an ACL. They were playing TCU, a team that is not good, a team that's lost to Colorado, a team that's going to have a losing record. And they gave up it was 29-6 maybe. I can't remember exactly what it was. And the final score is 29-26. And if the Texas receiver doesn't make an unbelievable catch on 3rd and 12, TCU gets the ball back with 2 minutes. I mean, those things I think matter too. Now, you can also, in full disclosure, you can also say Arkansas came back from Alabama, only won by 3. I get that too. I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm also going to say that if Alabama were to beat Georgia, that's at least as impressive as Texas beating Alabama second game of the year.
All that becomes a moot point to me.
I understand.
And if Texas limps to the finish line, winning by 1 point over everybody else that they play, again, it just comes back to the principle of the thing. If you go on the road and beat a team, that team cannot jump you. I would say that.
I disagree with you. I don't think it's set in stone. I think you do have to look at all the factors.
I would say it's set in granite.
I understand, but
that's just the way I feel.
don't think it is, because I don't think it's that.
We will see.
It is certainly. I don't think it would be a travesty either way. I think there is definite conversation to be had about it.
I think it would be a travesty. I think it.
Well, then why?
Regardless, I mean, I'm not just talking about Alabama. I mean,
but why even? Then you're saying, okay, so they have no path to it, and see, that's sort of wrong too. And my point is, look, you can't just reward somebody for having one good win and that's it. And that's all they got.
Them if that's the win and they win all the rest.
Well, then we should have been putting Boise State in this thing the whole time.
No, they didn't go.
Because they played a bunch of bunk teams too, and the Big 12's not that good.
But they were never put up head to head against somebody that they beat. I mean, let's say that year they go beat Oregon, and it would have come down to a undefeated or a one-loss Boise team and a one-loss Oregon team.
And I would have no problem putting Oregon over Boise.
I would say absolutely you put Boise in.
But one team plays in 3A and one team plays in 7A.
But he went to them and beat them.
Okay. I mean, and that gives them points.
Isn't football about competition and winning the game?
And that
Don't we play to win the games?
Andy, and that's why they're ranked ahead of them right now. And that's why Alabama jumped them, even though
you're bringing up a Boise that has nothing to do with this.
No, but I'm saying that's why they're ranked ahead of them right now. And I get that. But I'm saying, now, if Georgia were to lose to Georgia Tech, all of a sudden I think you're like, okay, now it's a problem. But if Georgia is undefeated, the 3-time reigning national champ, you beat them in Atlanta, and you haven't lost since then, and you've been playing in the SEC, and the other team has been playing a bunch of teams that go on the road and get beat by 45 to Central Florida, I think that matters. I'm just, look, again.
I get it. I understand why, and if I was, I get your argument. And again, let's take Auburn, Alabama out of it. We were just talking about two teams. I get your argument, but I understand you're saying you can't get over it. I cannot get you. I mean, there is nothing that can convince me otherwise. If you have a head-to-head matchup, I don't care when it is in the season, and especially if you go to their place and win, I don't care if you both play in a big boy conference, regardless of what you think of that conference. If they finish undefeated,
that's a lot of caveats to you. I mean,
no, there are no caveats.
No, I'm saying I think you have to look at, again.
You're putting the caveats in there.
No, my point is,
I'm saying
you got to look at the broad picture of the thing. You're boiling it down to one thing that happened on September 9th. I'm not. Look at the whole picture.
If Texas loses another game,
I understand.
I agree.
But I understand.
They have to win every other game, yeah.
But when every other game is not good competition, that doesn't matter to you at all?
What matters the most
is... Fine. I'm with you there. I'm with you there. But you're saying it matters so much more, it doesn't matter about the other stuff.
Yeah, well,
I'm saying it definitely matters.
I'm saying you got to win. You got to be in a position. You got to be both with the same record. But if it comes down to it, that's the number one thing. And to me, there is no thing after that.
I think it can be the number one thing and then the next 4 things go the other way, you have to start going, okay, we got to average this thing out a little bit.
Then it just becomes the dadgum computer or statistics.
Not necessarily statistics.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's just, but if it's head-to-head competition.
All right, I can't. You're not going to change.
No, I'm
so
not.
there's no more sense talking to you about it. I'm saying that there is you can have the discussion about it. If you're completely closed-minded about it, there's no sense talking about it.
That's probably true.
That is the truth.
But I think more people think like I do than you.
No, I think, again, I have no problem thinking about it that way initially, but I do think you also have to look at the big picture. And I've really enjoyed, because I've been traveling a lot, listening to the national perspective of some people going, yeah, I thought that forever too. But now I'm starting to look at things going, but wait a minute. It's not like Alabama gets to play a 4-loss Missouri team in the SEC title game. You know, they got to play the 2-time defending national champs who'll be undefeated and ranked number 1. And they were like, and Texas, meanwhile, is limping to the finish line with some injuries. You go, well, you can't count against injury. Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. You can.
I think you undermine the.
Oh, come on!
Everything about sports.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I do.
That's crazy.
No, it's not.
That's over the top.
Not.
It's okay to be
on the
hard-headed.
field.
It's not okay to say you undermining sports is getting somebody to go on the sideline
The whole
to videotape
point
the other
of
team.
the game is to win the game.
Agreed.
And to be rewarded for your wins.
And
it's just what it is.
And again, that's why they're ranked ahead right now. It is a fluid situation. It is the Constitution. It is a living, breathing thing.
And maybe neither of them get in. Maybe both of them get in.
And that may be true.
I don't know.
Hey, look,
we'll see what happens.
If Georgia wins out, it doesn't matter. But and Michigan or Ohio State will lose because they play each other. But here's the other thing. I think both of them should be in before Oregon. There's no doubt in my mind. All I do is look at the schedule, and I say, who have you played? And then, Oregon's argument would be, we play who's in front of us in our conference. And I go, that's true, but you also played Texas Tech. That was your non-conference.
A phenomenal argument to jump over Oregon.
Phenomenal. You're going to have an argument and jump over Texas.
You've got a great argument to jump over an undefeated Washington.
I don't know.
You have no argument to jump over Texas.
That is untrue.
That is not true.
Look, I don't mind your being set in your ways. But to say you have no argument when everybody's arguing about it already.
It's not set in my ways. It's
We're
just
already
the truth
arguing about
of football for 1,000 years.
We've changed football more in the last 10 years than we have in the previous 150
We
before
got to
that.
take a break. We're not going to finish this tonight, but maybe later. We'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes. and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro continues to excel in making sure our clients have a smooth and pleasant experience with home financing needs. Families are struggling to make ends meet due to price increases and high interest rates on credit cards. Monthly debt can cripple a family from enjoying the special times in life. Property values are holding strong, and now is the time to take advantage of the equity in your home, saving hundreds of dollars a month. No money out of pocket and no payment until January 2024. Call the Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro today.
Lake Area Realty specializes in Lake Martin real estate. They can help simplify your next real estate purchase or sell and have helped many home buyers and sellers through the area buy and sell real estate with precision. Lake Area Realty utilizes powerful marketing tools and knowledge of the lake to help you with your next move. Call your local hometown agency today, Lake Area Realty, at 256-825-4800. That's 256-825-4800. Lake Area Realty, helping you find your way home.
It makes perfect sense.
No, it does not.
Welcome back, everyone.
Tell
to
the
Sports
people
Blitz
what you just
Live.
said. Tell them what you just.
I said, well, we were talking about scenarios, and I said if well, I mean, we had a bunch of what ifs, but if there were two spots available and it came down to the SEC title game and Alabama beat Georgia, and you would end up with both one-loss teams, I said you could make an argument for Georgia being over Texas because they had one loss.
But in that case, in your scenario now, Georgia would be over Texas and Alabama.
No, Alabama would be over Georgia.
Okay.
I'm just saying you could have an argument if Texas ended up winning the thing.
But what you'd have is Texas, Georgia, and Alabama all with one loss. Texas beat Georgia. Texas beat Alabama. Alabama beat Georgia, and you said you could.
But Texas was not involved with Georgia. I mean, you could say that. I mean, that's the point, Luke. But
you just said Georgia would get in.
No, I said you could make an argument.
And then
to me, there is no argument when it's head-to-head. You can make an argument if there was no
But if
head-to-head.
there is an argument for Texas, Georgia getting it over Texas, what do you do with Alabama who beat Georgia?
That's what I'm saying. That's why the committee would have a
okay, now we're on the same page. It's a mess.
That is a mess.
Which, frankly, I'm okay. There are people out there saying this is why I want the 12-team playoff. And I'm like, this is why I don't want it. This is so awesome.
I agree. That's fine. And that's a great argument to have. I'm just saying if it came down to those two schools and there was one spot, I could not, in good conscience, jump.
Okay, but you are saying in good conscience you would consider Georgia.
Yes.
Okay, which makes no sense because Alabama beat them.
That makes perfect sense because if you're talking just about Georgia and Texas, then you look at resume because there is no head-to-head.
Okay, so look, let me get this straight. Since you're the traditionalist that you just told me.
Yeah.
In our scenario, Florida State's in because we don't think they face anybody.
Probably.
We think they're probably in. Michigan, Ohio State winner in. So there's two people in. There's two slots.
That's if Michigan's not suspended.
Let's assume Washington wins out for the heck of it. So there's one spot left.
One spot left.
I know. Let's just assume there's one spot.
Right.
Alabama goes all the way, beats Georgia. Texas goes all the way, beats whatever dump truck team they play in their championship game. So Texas is 12-1, Bama's 12-1, Georgia would be 12-1. You're saying that you could see Georgia over Texas, but you cannot have under any circumstance Alabama over Texas.
If there's one spot available?
Correct.
Yes, I'm saying that.
Okay, now you are the traditionalist, by the way. Georgia will not have the SEC championship, and they would have lost to a team that also only has one loss.
That is correct.
And you would still do that. That is because you are an Auburn fan and you don't want Alabama. That is incorrect. There is no other reason.
No.
Because you're going against your own logic.
No.
You're going against your own logic.
No.
Then please explain it.
I don't even know what you just.
All right. One more time.
You're saying there's one spot.
There's one spot. Texas 12-1, Bama 12-1, Georgia 12-1. Texas went on the road, beat Bama.
Yeah.
Alabama went to the Atlanta and beat Georgia.
If you got all three of them vying for one spot,
correct.
Then it becomes a triangular logic that I can't figure out.
Thank you,
That's
Jesus. That's what I've been saying.
I understand that, and I've said that all along. I said if it came down to two teams and that was one spot.
But see, it can't work that way because Alabama will have played them both and beat one and lost to one. Now, if Alabama's out of the equation and you're like, okay, now it's Georgia, Texas, and I'm doing this. Okay, if Alabama's not even in the picture and not a factor, then I see where you're going. But Alabama is intrinsically in the picture. They are the reason that the picture's there because they would have beaten Georgia, the two-time defending national champ, who hadn't lost a game, and at that point will be 29 straight games, an SEC record. Right. But they will have also lost to Texas, a team who's very good, but has also lost their starting running back and hadn't had much of a schedule since then. So that's what my point is. You've got those three things, so there is no way you can have this absolute commitment to it. You've got to sit down with people and discuss this and then basically take a majority rule. And no matter what, a lot of people are going to be mad, but they shouldn't be because, frankly, all three of them are in this position. Texas shouldn't be in this position. They lost to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not great. We agree with that.
That's true.
Georgia shouldn't be in this position because they lose to Alabama basically on their home field. Alabama shouldn't be in this position because they lost to Texas on their home field. So I think that two teams would be very upset. And if Alabama's one of them, I'd say so be it. They did it to themselves. But what I was getting mad about is frustrated with, not mad, is that you had this hardcore, no, it's this way. When I just presented the logic to you that, like, there is a way that there is no chance tonight you can make up your mind. It would take a weekend-long deliberation, which is what the committee's supposed to do, and I appreciate.
I said it's fine. If it's multiple teams involved, then it becomes a different argument. But I'm okay with that.
Well, that was my point all along. There are multiple teams. Now, here's the caveat being, and again, this is all a moot point because there's a lot that's going to happen. But if Georgia Tech or Tennessee were to upset Georgia, all of a sudden, if Alabama beats them, it doesn't look as cool.
No.
So I still get Texas over Alabama then. So as an Alabama fan, I'm like, hey, not only do we have to beat Chattanooga, which
if Georgia's got a loss and Alabama beats them, then clearly Georgia's out.
Well, not only is clearly Georgia out, it devalues Alabama's win over Georgia, is my point.
Not
I don't know.
Not that much
I think it does. I really do. Now, this is where I will argue against Alabama. I would say we need Georgia undefeated. I don't like pulling for Georgia, but we need them undefeated.
Yeah. Again, I'm telling you, this has nothing to do with Alabama. If it was Georgia and Texas that had played, I'd feel the same way.
But, again, the whole beginning of this to me is you could end up with 12-1 Texas, 12-1 Bama, 12-1 Georgia. Georgia lost to Bama. Bama lost to Texas. Texas lost to Oklahoma.
We could have a lot of crap.
But this is not far-fetched. This is not far-fetched at all.
It's pretty far-fetched to have those. Well, not far-fetched. I'm just saying.
Let me tell you, Texas is going to be a favorite.
A lot of people are not going to end up in the undefeated.
Texas is going to be a favorite against Iowa State. It's going to be a tricky game, but they're going to be a favorite. They're going to be a favorite against Texas Tech, who they play next, and they're going to be a favorite.
I could definitely see Texas winning.
Okay,
I'm talking about Washington and Florida State.
Well, I mean, I assume there's only one spot. Now, if there are two spots, you're still going to have of that triangle. You're still going to have one of them upset.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back with one final segment of Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hey, it's Brett Pritchard, and I'm here to tell you all about Sims Foods, who you know better as Wickles Pickles. Wickles Pickles, that 90-year-old recipe, wickedly delicious. Relish, okra, and pickles. From Saturday sandwiches, tailgate snacks, to holiday dinners with your family and friends. From their family to yours. Wickles Pickles, those wickedly delicious pickles.
Wickles Pickles, wickedly delicious pickles.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
This fall, nobody beats Martin's Sports Pub for Lake Martin's best sports experience. Martin's all-star lineup of cold beverages and pub fare food can't be beat, with the region's best wings, burgers, and signature dishes. At Martin's, you always have the best seat in the house for all college and NFL on our multiple 360-view TV and huge projection screen with surround sound. See our pigskin scoreboard weekly to win big money and let our all-pro teams serve it all to you at the place we all win. Martin's, Highway 34, Dadeville.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Welcome back, everyone. To Sports Blitz Live. We're all discombobulated here. We don't have time to get to the 80s movie showdown. We'll do that next week.
Save it.
Or the week after.
No, not next week.
Not
I don't
next,
even know if
that's
we're having a show next
Thanksgiving.
week.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. So is that, no, that's on Tuesday.
Well, I'm not going to be here. So
Okay, well.
save it for me.
We'll postpone it, for a couple of weeks.
And we were getting
And that's what we call a long tease.
We were getting a text from Brett. He said, this is why you go to 12 teams. And I'll say it again. This is why you don't go to 12 teams, because the debate is better. And I would rather somebody deserving get left out than somebody undeserving get
There'll
in.
still be great debates for I mean, I'm telling you, there'll be more teams that get in. I mean, we'll be talking about them, but it'll
But
still
I don't
be.
want to debate which 8-4 team should get in. That's what I don't want to debate.
We'll be
I want to
debating-
debate which 12-1
We'll
team
be
needs to
debating
left
who
out.
gets the home team, because that's going to be one of the biggest parts of the advantages of this big playoff.
And it's sort of like the debates in the NCAA tournament. We're debating the 69th best team in the country, and that's not a great debate. It's sort of stupid.
It'll all be fun one way or the other, and we'll see if it all comes down to it, and if Luke's head explodes. But don't.
That'd be a big explosion.
Be sure to join us next week. Tune in to the Auburn Blitz tomorrow, 12 to 1. Thank you so much for all of you out there being with us tonight. He's Luke. I'm Andy. So long for now. We'll talk again soon.
Have you met your local Farmers Insurance agent, Patrick Holina? He proudly serves Tallapoosa County and Alexander City families and businesses and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Holina Agency at 256-234-0037 or stop in today at 704 Commerce Drive to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Holina Agency, 256-234-0037.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
So you want to build a home? Build the home you want with America's Home Place. Choose from over 150 floor plans, then personalize. Tile backsplash with granite countertops? Done. A spacious bathroom you've always dreamed of? You got it. Choose every detail, floors, cabinets, even the paint color.
How about electric lime?
Can't decide? Relax. At America's Home Place, we take care of it all. It's your home. Own it. America's Home Place.
Truckloads of fresh new inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. Come see and drive the new full-size GMC Sierra 1500 trucks, discounted up to $13,000 off. And the roomy and stylish GMC Acadias, up to $5,000 off. Plus, enjoy no payments till springtime.
Get your best price every day at Glenn Smith GMC on the lot or online at glennsmith.com. Get ready to smile.